Hello, let's continue on step 4 and step 5 to create 2 more master data before we add the transaction data. In step 4, we are going to create the allocation base for the 2 departments we have for the maintenance department and assembly departments. They allocate their cost different from the cafeteria. We are going to use the working hours incurred in the department later to allocate the cost to other cost centers. So in this step, we create master data of activities. If you follow the manual path, it's still under the accounting, controlling, master data, but activity type with individual processing KL01 to create. And the first one we'll do for the maintenance department. So we give a name like so we just call M018 for me. And you use your own counting code. And it's supposed to be the beginning of the current year and to the default. It's already the beginning of year, so just use both as default. And then click on master data. And we'll give a name for this activity type. So we call, this is like a memo, so you can use your own word, just call maintenance hours and 018. Okay. For maintenance department later, we are going to allocate the total cost for this department based upon the maintenance hours received by other departments or activities. And then the activity unit, we need to let the system know because they are going to do the allocation of the rate and allocate for us. So we are going to use H which is the hours. Okay, but you can directly type. And just to let you know, we have different allocation measurement in the system you can choose. And the cost center category, we'll choose all. So all cost centers. So means all cost centers receiving the maintenance service will be allocated the cost, so based upon the hours. And then the activity type, we use manual entry and manual allocation. And if you, for some case later, like means we want to manually add the hours worked and then initiate the allocation manually, not automatically by the system. And I think allocation 1 and okay, now it's important, so don't forget the allocation cost element even is not stored, okay, as required. And this is going to be the secondary cost element we created in last step, because this is critical. You are linking this secondary cost elements to the allocation base of the maintenance department. So you are building, so later the system will know for all of the costs incurred for this secondary cost elements will be allocated by the working hours of this department with all these cost center. So identifying the cost to account, the secondary cost element with the allocation base. So type this correctly and save. So we created the first activity for the maintenance department. Now I don't need to exit. I just change the M. Create another activity for the assembly department. Assembly department is a direct production department, like assembling the parts or materials for the final products. So So change the name of the activity type and keep the default dates. So the range of the dates. And for master data, we put the assembly. So this is the activities, and also the activity units will be H. So it's also the hours. And then the cost center category is same thing. Okay, so apply to all the cost centers, and then using the manual entry and manual allocation, and then put the 820 secondary cost element. So here we are linking the secondary cost element to the hours of the assembly department, so we can prepare allocation later. And double check. Okay, so all of the inputs are correct before you save the data. And now we exit. So you build up or how to allocate. So different from the cafeteria, you assess the cafe cost based upon the employee numbers. For the other two departments, we use the hours to do the allocations. And now let's build the final master data of the cost center group. This cost center group is the how we are going to allocate the cafe cost, because the cafe, the cost element will be allocated to the cafe itself and then the other two departments by their employee numbers. So it's like a circle of the three departments will receive the cafeteria cost. This doesn't involve the cost for the assembly department and maintenance department because they happen for the other purpose. Okay, so step 5, the cost center group is only be used for allocating or make assessment of the cafe cost. So we are still we are still under the master data, right? So accounting, controlling, cost center accounting, and the master data, but now we are getting into the cost center group and KSH1. And click on that. And the cost center group, now we need to change the name to group 018 for me. So it's a new cost center group. And we'll have 3 departments or cost centers in this group. And then after that, I think you can hit enter or go to the hierarchy to get into this page. And see here, we can click on the, let me see the group, hit enter and name the, click on the cost center and then put a memo. So this is very light. Okay, this box is very light. So let's put a memo here and we can call cafeteria cost receivers. Okay, who are going to receive the allocation of the cafe cost? So that's a memo. And then in the rows, we'll put the 3 cost centers we created from step 1. So the first one, CA 018. Okay, so cost center cafeteria 018. And don't worry about the right. After you save the data, the name of the cost center will appear. Then the second one is the CCMA. You can use lowercase or uppercase. They can identify it with a 0. But don't type it wrong. Then the CCAS 018. And then we can hit enter to confirm. Or I think you can use save. Yeah. So once you save, the name of the department we have entered in step 1 will appear. In the meantime, the cost center group data is saved. And once we finish all of the 5 pieces of master data, now we can enter the transaction data. So it means, now we can tell the system how many actual employees worked in the 3 departments, and then how much the total cost incurred for each department, and how many hours happened for the assembly and the maintenance, and then the actual hours for the activity cost allocation. So the next group of activities will be involving entering actual transaction data into the master data system, so we can prepare for the assessment and allocation eventually.